Hey, I'm sure by now you know what it is. This is You Ain't Black.
You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
Oh, no.
Every poll shows me way ahead.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, rock on.
Yes, sir.
So, dude, let's just dive right in.
We got to get into this.
Yeah, I was going to say, what blew my mind is Donald Trump, regardless of election or re-election, saved America because he broke the media. And he took the mask off the bias. And they are going crazy now with calling him the candidate on Twitter, now feeling like they can censor him.
They are censoring him.
Or they never, ever felt. And I mean, they are getting the most ballsy I've ever seen them. I'm talking too much, Lucas Gell.
They're censoring the message from the White House. They cut away from Kayleigh McEnany's press secretary speech, her message to the American people. They cut away because why? One anchor on Fox decided to make a unilateral decision, right? To, in good conscience, in his good conscience, he could not air this to the people. That is not your decision to make. This is the White House press secretary.
On MSNBC all day long.
It's complete BS. It's censorship. How are they going to censor the White House's message to the American people?
Right. And did Fox News have the right to say, oh, I can't in good conscience air claims that Donald Trump was a 1985 flipped Russian asset until you guys have better claims?
Let's go.
You know?
None of these stations, these same stations that refuse to even air the legitimate crimes on Joe Biden, right?
Yeah.
In quote unquote good conscience to the American people. These are the same stations, right, that ran with this Russian hoax, that ran with this quid pro quo, that was exactly what Joe Biden was doing in Ukraine, right?
Preach.
This is the same media that said that in 2016 that the election was rigged and that Russia, by buying ads on Facebook that were negative against Hillary, somehow rigged the election, right? But now they're saying there's nothing to see here in 2020.
Right.
There's 0% chance of voter fraud, even though there's mass mail-in ballots.
Dude, and I am so concerned about this because here's the deal. The populace doesn't realize that we already drastically changed the credibility of this election by sending everyone a ballot. It used to be that you only voted if you wanted to on election day. Then we added mail-in ballots for people that are overseas, military, so on and so forth. But still, it had to be that the politically involved and those with scratch in the game or that wanted to have scratch in the game were those that went to the polls. And then now we've all of a sudden sent the ballot out to everybody. And there's been a lot of talk about, oh, this is how third world countries do these kind of elections, but it's true. I lived in Argentina. It is law in Argentina that kind of similar to how Joseph and Mary had to return to Bethlehem, the city of their birth, to be taxed. You have to go back to the city of your birth, not everybody, but you have to return to the city where a specific registration is in order for yourself to vote. And everybody's basically required to vote, so much so that people, as a missionary in Argentina, I would have people saying, yo, I'm on the way to vote. Like, I hear there's like some pop star there. I might just vote for him. I've heard of him.
Wow,
and it turns the entire society into a mobocracy.
Right.
And that's extremely dangerous.
That's very.
You know what? To add on to that, Cardon, I just got to say that, this may get into a slippery slope, but I feel like literally there should be some type of requirement or a prerequisite to vote for the president.
Yes.
Because in any other...
Joe Rogan agrees with you. He thinks there should be an intelligence test of some sort.
I mean, but like, what about people who literally have mental illness?
I don't think it should be intelligence because then people are going to manipulate that test. But I swear you should have scratch in the game. Yeah. Like either you're a volunteer, a first responder, somebody with a mortgage. You pay like I don't care. Something that anybody could do to prove they want to. Because in the old Roman Republic, you couldn't be a citizen unless you had served in the military or owned like massive tracts.
We may even should raise the age of voting.
I'm for that.
They want to lower it to 17, which is ridiculous.
So
everybody can reflect on when they were 17 and 18.
I was not a smart
Were you even concerned with like the political environment and the political climate?
According to Joe Biden,
I did. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. It's mob rule when you're a kid. You know what I'm saying? But as you get older, you start understanding that it's more of an independent mindset that you got to have when it comes to these daggone elections. You know what I'm saying? You do your own research, and that's what I'm all for. I'm all for research. That's why I'm like, you know what? I would be for an intelligence test.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I really would.
Let's run it. An IQ test at least. And what's sad is that the indoctrination is like starting in the schools.
You got
now,
it.
right?
You got it.
And
but
the
you know
college
they're gonna
students,
make-
even though they're like book smart, and the college students are coming out with degrees,
Well, the only
dumb as
reason
hell.
they're being indoctrinated with like dumbness.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. The only reason why I'm against an IQ test is because two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
First off, there's a morality question there. I think you can be intelligent and evil and not very intelligent and simple-minded and still be a very moral
can dig
person.
that. I can
Okay?
dig that.
You know what
That's
I'm
true,
saying?
too.
I can dig that.
And so it's like I would never want to exclude somebody due to intelligence, which, if you think about it, is just as an immutable characteristic as Lucas the Abstract and MAGA Hulk skin color, right? So morally, I'm against doing any kind of
enough.
intelligence test, right? But scratching the game,
Yeah.
anybody can
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Anybody can have that and be required scratching the game of some sort. And I don't care if it's you volunteer for 10 hours at the American Red Cross.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
scratching
care.
the game sounds good.
Just-
that sounds good. That
so,
does that. I like
and
that.
either way, the only reason, going back to the reason why I'm worried about this election, regardless of what you think the results are in Pennsylvania and so on and so forth, because I think all of us agree, if we were shown credible evidence that Donald Trump did indeed lose an election,
Right.
there's not a single one of us that's not going to say, okay, sorry, Donald, you got to go.
Yeah.
And he himself would be like, okay, I lost.
Absolutely.
exactly.
The only problem
But that
is
did not happen.
we
not-
Please be
changed.
clear.
Not at all.
No. We changed this election drastically. First off, we had like 30 to 60 million more people voting now all of a sudden.
Dead people were voting though.
Yeah, all kinds of
it's-
dead people.
Pets were voting.
Not a living
Yeah.
dead,
Right.
don't it?
So I
And
mean,
we've
come on.
always had pets that have gotten away with elections. We've always had people that have filled out their dead grandma's ballot and been like, one more for the team. You know?
Yeah.
And it's never been, quote,
Widespread,
widespread enough
yes.
that it really influenced any election outside of the margin of error. But now that margin of error just got down to, we're literally Mike Garcia v. Christy Smith, which is our district's election.
Yeah.
Okay. At one point, as of last reporting, I think on Friday, was down to 127 votes at the end of the day. At one point in the middle of the day, it was
127.
down to 92. It was double digits.
Literally.
Al Franken won with less than 800 votes. And the reason why I have such a huge problem with ballot harvesting is, first off, because California went through ballot harvesting in 2018. Most of these other states had no idea what it was. It wasn't on their radar because their states didn't accept it until California passed AB 1921, which forever changed our ballots. And the reason why Democrats want it is because the USPS union loves this, because they know all of a sudden, wow, there's 10 million new ballots just floating around. That you want to know what? If there's a 92 vote election out there, I bet you on a Friday afternoon I could go out in my freaking golf cart in the old man villa.
You got
and
it.
I could get 100 of those ballots.
You got it.
And
I
you
could
know what?
steam them open.
You
I could
better
see who they
believe it.
voted for and just
Sign
throw
some
away
and
the
get rid of 'em.
competition.
Yep.
And
I
you know
would-
what, y'all? Like, that's why I
true.
say, like, I followed the trail, right? I did my scientific research.
Let's go.
As I say, I collected my data.
Yes, sir.
And I did my cross analysis.
Let's go.
And the conclusion that I came up with is
Yeah.
that the only way that Nancy Pelosi and the DNC could steal this election is with mass mail-in ballots.
You got it.
Which leads to, why would we need mass mail-in ballots if you scare people with fear of some deadly coronavirus, the pandemic, as I like to call it, right? So they indoctrinate this
By the way, can
pandemic
we just talk
and
about your
collusion.
words? You've got a shirt that looks like Champion, but it says "Cash Me Outside." You know what I'm
Cash me
saying?
outside. How about
You know what I'm
that?
saying? You call him Charlemagne the Fraud. You're
Yeah,
brutal,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Like, you're like
He got those zingers,
Because I'm
man.
representing. I'm ready for anybody that got something to say
go.
about this. Cash me outside.
You're like a walking play on words, dude. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
let's-
So now
but-
you call it the pandemic. All right,
Yeah.
keep going.
It really is the pandemic because they had
sir.
to be in collusion with China, right? It's not a coincidence that Nancy Pelosi was and all these other Democratic governors were encouraging people to dance in the streets of China, to have block parties, that it's going to be one big love fest, right? They downplayed the coronavirus at first.
Yeah, you meant Chinatown, not China.
Chinatown,
right?
yeah.
Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was about to say,
Yes, like
she
all of the
wasn't
Chinatowns
encouraging
in
Chinese
America.
nationals to celebrate.
Right, no, right. Like all of the Chinatowns in America, right? They downplayed the virus.
Big time. Big time.
And now, is it a coincidence that it's so hypocritical because the Democrats say that they didn't want to go to the polls to vote in person because of the pandemic,
Right.
but it's okay that they can go to the White House and celebrate and sing WAP
see
when
what I'm
the fake
saying?
news announced that Joe Biden was the president-elect.
Oh, they was out there strong.
It was ridiculous. Was
on.
that a super spreader? Like when
No,
people like
no.
us go out in support of
Oh, yeah,
America,
for us, yeah.
in support of the president, but
We're
they call it
super
a
spreaders.
super spreader.
We're the super spreaders. See, it's a smart
I mean,
virus.
this is
You know what I'm saying?
ridiculous. I feel like normal people with rationale normal American citizens who want to keep their way of life, who want to keep their American freedoms, who love America.
Let's go.
Normal people can see that this is insane.
Well, and I'm looking at this from both sides of the argument here. If Donald Trump is able to prove that a lot of these votes were fraudulent and enough that the election itself was swayed through fraudulent activity, there's not enough plywood on earth.
Man.
There's not enough plywood on earth to stop the riotous hell that is going to come down upon
And
America.
I promise
That's
y'all,
what they did on purpose.
MAGA Hulk, let me tell y'all, I promise y'all, I told my sister and I told about a dozen other people this about a month ago. I mean, no, as soon as they announced Joe Biden fakely as the president-elect,
Right.
I said, watch. They're doing this on purpose. The corrupt media is in collusion with this, right? They're in collusion with this anti-American rhetoric. And what they're doing is intentional, because when Donald Trump is announced the true winner, when it's announced that the American people re-elected the president for another term, they are going to put the headlines out that Donald Trump and the Republicans stole the election from the first black woman VP.
You got it.
And Uncle Joe.
Yes.
They're going to put race into it. They're going to put all these slanderous lies into it, and they're going to encourage people to burn down America and riot in the streets.
They've been setting this up. They've been setting that scene up for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? I really 100% believe what you're saying, because you look at what's going on. I've been talking to people, and they are dead set in thinking that Joe Biden is the literal president. They're thinking, well, why isn't he creating policy right now? Like, you don't understand how the election system even freaking works in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't December 14th
Thank
yet.
you. I mean, it's ridiculous. You got Kamala Harris dancing to marching bands, celebrating her fake victory. You have the collusion of the fake media, right? Why would the media is not even in a position to make such a decision?
Thank you.
This is the exact same situation, like I like to put it, right? An anecdote is like, imagine during the OJ trial, right? Something that was that huge. Imagine if weeks before a decision, a week before the jury made a decision, what if the media started putting out OJ guilty of murder?
Yeah. Oh my God.
You can't make that decision.
You can't.
The courts haven't made a decision yet.
Thank you. And that's what's going on right now.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mag, but I'm worried because if Donald wins, and I say Donald because we're on a first name basis. But no, I just I realized that I didn't say Trump, and I was like, it made it sound like yo DJ. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if they want to call Biden Uncle Joe,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So look, if Donald Trump wins, the left will riot.
Oh,
in the
100%.
single worst act
they will
of
destroy,
political violence
they will loot
that we have ever seen. And I'm telling you, I will not be traveling. I will be sitting with a shotgun at my house.
Let's go.
Because
anybody
who ever voted for that guy or wore a MAGA hat or whatever, they are coming for you.
But can you see the contrast, right? You have over 72 million Republicans that are upset,
if Joe Biden
and there's no rioting.
Nothing.
No. Yeah, but see, the thing, though, is I got to tell you, there's something worse. There is something worse. If Joe Biden, and I think it's already happened, we will lose faith that elections actually matter.
Yeah.
Every immigrant, he dove into the Hispanic vote. Donald Trump dove into the black vote, the Hispanic vote.
So you mean to tell me Blexit and Lexit and Exit, all these movements, he got way more votes from every demographic than he did in 2016.
Thank you.
And you mean to tell me that the DNC can only counter that with Weekend at Bernie's Joe Biden? No. Are you kidding me? So that goes to show that it didn't matter who they put up. Right. They could have put up Elizabeth Warren. Absolutely. They could have put up anybody, and they would have pushed him as far. But the reason why they chose Joe Biden is because he's an empty vessel shell.
Yeah, but still,
you're
looking at this, and they're literally asking people not to believe their eyes.
That's
now,
it.
Look, I had a lot of friends.
Don't believe your lying eyes.
That's it. That's it. That's exactly it.
And I had a lot of friends that said, look, I voted down ballot for Republicans, but I can't stand Trump, so I voted for Biden. And I get that. Vote the way you want, whatever, okay? I'm never going to judge a person for how they voted. Right. But this idea that all of a sudden we can send out millions of ballots into the ether based off of lists we've never vetted, not requiring signatures to match. Right. Think about it. We just gave a con artist the ability A dream. You're telling me that I can count as a vote a signature that doesn't match, that came in days after the election.
You got it.
So all I got to do is nudge, bro, $10 a ballot. Steal the hundreds of thousands of ballots, or maybe in my municipality, maybe only 1,000 ballots that people discarded, didn't want, never collected.
Yeah.
And there's video proof of all of that. But yet the corrupt media is saying that there's zero evidence.
They
keep saying that the president's claims are false.
Or fraudulent. He is making fraudulent claims.
But in 2016, they ran with this for 4 years.
But you want to know why I think this is good, though? Because honestly, regardless, I've looked at this, and I think they're going to steal the election. I've stopped disbelieving.
You think so?
Really?
I've stopped disbelieving in Donald. I think both simultaneously. In 2016, I thought Hillary Clinton's going to win just because she's a juggernaut. But I didn't think Donald Trump was going to lose simultaneously, because in hushed whispers, so many of my customers, my friends, my acquaintances at church would say, dude, don't tell my wife, but I'm totally voting for Donald Trump. Or else, oh, dude, I'm part of the Latino Chamber of Commerce, and don't tell anybody else in the Chamber of Commerce, but I'm totally voting for Donald Trump, and I know a ton of my friends that are as well. So like, I knew there was a groundswell that nobody was accounting for, and I saw it with Andrew Yang. When I followed Andrew Yang, #math, make America think harder and all that stuff, he was soaring above other people that weren't getting tagged in the polls. Like, he had
Bernie
so
Sanders
much more.
was even ahead of a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Andrew Yang actually beat out Kamala Harris in California, which is hilarious.
Kamala was the first to drop out.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody supported
it's
her.
like,
no one wanted her.
I knew that Donald Trump. I thought Hillary was going to win, but I also knew Donald Trump wasn't going to fail, which are conflicting feelings that I had at the same moment. And I've got conflicting feelings now. My first confliction is that every time I've underestimated Donald Trump, and he has simply not gone away when the media said to go away, he's won.
Right on top.
When the Stormy Daniels thing happened, I thought, it's over.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done. There's no way that somebody can recover from this.
Right.
And he ended up doing what? Beyond recovering, doing the best piece of political theater I ever saw when he got Bill Clinton's accusers to come in.
Because this has turned into a spiritual war.
Oh,
and
100%.
as a matter of fact, it's like, no matter how you look at it, at the end of the day, there is a universe and there is a God. And truth will reign over lies. Yeah. Good will reign over evil. Now, these people that are evil may think that they're seceding now in some form or fashion because they may have like political positions or they may have like money and so-called power. But if that's what you base your success on, is this, then that goes to show that you're not even like operating spiritually.
Yeah, hear me out on this, because to a certain extent, I actually think that he's already succeeded.
Who, Biden?
No, Donald Trump.
Oh, Donald Trump.
Because even if they steal the election, and look, crap happens all the time. Unfortunately, JFK was assassinated. You want to talk about the ultimate steal?
Right.
Lee Harvey Oswald stole our motherfucking president. Right. All right?
Right.
So it's like, there's crap that happens in politics all the time that we could sit there screaming about. And if they steal the election, fine. Well, Republicans need to start ballot harvesting too.
But not fine. Is it to no reproach, though?
Look, are you kidding me? This is politics. There's no reproach on the Bidens for the laptop
where are the
scandal. There's
subpoenas?
no reproach on the Clinton Foundation.
I don't think
where
yes,
are
there
the
is no
subpoenas?
I don't
where
think
are the indictments?
This is the ruling class, so we can't demand reproach. Whether we like it or not, this is the ruling class, but we can look at what we won. And here's what Donald Trump did. Whether he wins or loses, he broke the media.
He did.
Oh, yeah.
He
did.
Broke
He
the
exposed
media.
the media, too.
And you have to watch an intriguing interview between Dave Rubin and Megyn Kelly, in which he said, I think now that he broke the media, we're going to go back to the way it was in the 1800s, where all there is partisan media. If Donald Trump starts MAGA TV, between MAGA, Breitbart, and what's left
TV,
of Fox Nation, now you've got all the partisan info over there. And then with MSNBC, HuffPo, and all those other outlets over there, they've got all the partisan info they want. And we've literally gone back to the way it was in the early 20th century and late 19th century, where if you had an axe to grind politically, you started a newspaper, that was your social service, and you were the left-leaning newspaper in town, and there was a right-leaning newspaper. And that may actually not be such a bad thing. The only reason why leftism has been able to survive and thrive so well the past 50 years is because since the advent of television and that first Gore Vidal versus William F. Buckley interview in the 64 primaries, since the mid-60s, broadcast journalists faking that they're centrist while really pushing a leftist agenda.
And they've been controlling the narrative.
Has made them control the narrative in a leftward trajectory, so much so that in 1978 or 74, I can't remember, feel free to fact check me on this, but in the 70s, the most trusted man in America was Walter Cronkite, who was actually a member of the media. And now the media can't get above 15% approval rate. They're below Congress, who sits regularly between 13 and 18. So the only reason why leftism has been able to thrive is because we sent so many kids to universities unnecessarily, indebting them. And now Gen Z is like, no, I'm not going to take on that debt. So academia is going to lose its power because people aren't going to the university. And the media has finally lost its power because whether you like it or not, you are fake news was so destructive.
But have they lost their power though? I mean, right now, like,
well, yeah, look,
I think
Parler
look
is
at the
up
like fact checkers though, right?
Dude, look at the stats, man.
I would have to say that, I mean, in all honesty, when you were talking about Parler, Parler's been blowing up. Like,
I just joined a few days ago.
Me too. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, like literally 3 days ago.
But it's not just Parler. OAN.
Newsmax.
The Newsmax has been going up 100,000 subscribers a day for the past week. They used to average less than 1,000 on their YouTube channel.
Especially after the downfall of Fox. You know what I'm saying? After the downfall of Fox, everyone jumped ship immediately. They jumped ship to Newsmax and OAN because you got to look at it like just like you said. We have left wing media, and it's blatant. It's easy to see. It's right there in front of your freaking face. Now we got to have some daggone right wing media, and we can't be like, oh well, you know, we're unbiased. No, we are biased.
We have to have something to like balance the scale.
We got to have something
because this is insane.
This is ridiculous because we can't even count on big tech. We can't count on Facebook. It's gotten
to the point to where literally they're censoring the message from the White House.
You got to have a set of cojones.
They're censoring Donald Trump, the president himself. The
president of the United States. They're censoring the president. I've never seen something so egregious in my freaking life.
Let's talk about...
Look at this. Look at this. No, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at here. On the screen is Social Blade. This is this site tracks subscriptions and social media stuff. Look at their total subscribers weekly. Wow. Look at this on the graph. See that spike?
That's a huge spike.
They got almost a $500,000.
It's like
they were averaging for years. Look at this. 0 subscribers. There was a week where they didn't get any subs between January 6th and January 13th. And now there was a week where they got less than 1,000 subs. Oh, here was a good week. The only dot you see was 6,000 subs. Boom shakalaka.
Right.
13,000. Look at total video views. They were lucky if they were getting 6 figures most of these weeks. Now all of a sudden, they are up at 21
exponential growth.
People are waking up.
This is absolutely absurd.
And this is exciting because it's a movement now, right? And if the Democrats can think that they can steal an election before the world, in front of the world's eyes, the world is watching.
Right.
No, well, the world listens to the AP, and the AP is saying it wasn't stolen, so the world won't know. The change is going to happen underground.
No, the world is not AP. The world is not CNN. The world is you.
The world is CNN. The people. CNN is truth. Don't you mess with my self-schema.
The world are like normal people with a brain that functions, right? These people can like see what's going on.
Like Australian news,
I put my faith in the people.
They see what's going on. I mean, you look at these other outlets, they're like, this is ridiculous what's going on. They can't believe it. France
outlawed mail-in ballot voting 25 years ago.
Oh, I wonder why.
25 years ago.
Now I just heard that the French president has congratulated Joe Biden.
Well, yeah, of course.
We even had some of the Republicans trying to do that.
No, they're all trying to score points. And here's the deal. At the end of the day, they see the writing on the wall. They see the writing on the wall. One of my favorite phrases, the only thing that a politician fears is the media.
Yeah.
And when the media is on your side, which is what has been happening for 50 years, and no matter what you say about, well, what about talk radio? Well, what about Fox News? Well, the truth is Fox News is a minority viewership on cable. It doesn't even broadcast in channel 2 through 13.
Gotcha.
So
they're the number one news channel, right?
On cable.
On cable.
On cable.
Cable TV.
But there's a whole wide world outside of cable. ABC News, NBC News, CBS, all of those channels. CBS News was Walter Cronkite. Yeah. Okay? And so the market share that Fox News controls is less than a third. of any kind of viewership. I think it's like 15% of all viewership, like a third of cable viewership, which makes them the highest because there's like 5 channels.
Yeah.
When you control a third of the viewership in a 5-channel fight, then you're the top dog. But it's based on plurality, not majority. Okay. Yeah. So those stats that they say about we're number 1 on cable are really actually not that impressive when it comes to the entire slew of what people think from the history books they're going to read about 10 years from now. Imagine what our children, if they go to college, are going to read about Donald Trump when they go take Civics 205 at Cal State University.
They don't even have to wait to college. Right now,
yeah, exactly.
Elementary schools.
You better believe it.
A guy posted on his social media feed that his daughter had a homework assignment, and on the homework assignment worksheet literally were sentences that read something to the occasion of like, President Barack Obama was a good president because he practiced, and then the fill in the blank was something like tolerance and love. And then the next one was like, Donald Trump is a bad president or racist because he appreciates, and then the fill in was racism or something. And it's like, how are you giving these to children on homework assignments?
Media malfeasance has been so strong in this 4 years.
Let's talk
Absolutely.
about it.
Media
That's a
malfeasance has been
great
crazy.
word, MAGA.
Malfeasance that has turned into like downright betrayal.
It really has.
Yeah.
It really has. I mean, you look at what's going on right now because the whole purpose of the news is to put out the facts. Put out the facts, put out the truth, let the people do what they will with the information. But that's not what's going on right now. What's going on right now is they're openly stumping for one presidential candidate and they're openly bashing another. That CNN, they ran that little expose where they're comparing them to Hitler again. You know what I'm saying? Like you're comparing a man who's made America great again to a man who killed millions upon millions of Jews. Where I don't understand.
Yeah, the
how
dude
they make
that added perpetual funding to historically black universities that used to have to beg Congress yearly.
Right.
All of a sudden, he's the one that really, really, really hates African Americans.
Yes, clearly.
It's crazy. The like narrative is the complete opposite. It's like Democrats point, and then it's exactly them. Joe Biden is the racist one.
But I think, guys,
yes,
I think
literally
everybody's so pissed about this election, but I got to tell you, I think solid conservatism, not right-wingism, not craziness, just solid American conservatism and values is in a good place because Joe Biden might have cheated. We might find out he cheated. We might have found out he didn't. But at the end of the day, this was an absolute refutation of the Democrat Party.
It wasn't even really
in
up to Joe
2
Biden,
elections, we have been told twice there's going to be a blue wave. And the only blue wave that happened was in California where they cheated through ballot harvesting. In fact, the Senate picked up like 7 Republican seats when they should have lost them. Okay? And then you ended up having now what should have been an utter refutation. At this point in his presidency, Obama was hemorrhaging seats in the House of Representatives. And we're freaking gaining them.
Picking them up.
Yeah.
We're gaining them.
You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, it's so bad now. You got Bill Maher. Did you see what Bill Maher did?
Oh, boy.
No. Bill Maher just became a motherfucking Republican. I'm going to play.
Wait a minute.
Oh, dude.
Wait a minute.
The strife of the party.
On.
Listen to this. This will blow your minds. I'm literally going to turn this on so you guys can hear it. Hold on. Hold on. Listen to this. Listen to this. Reaction video time right here.
Seats in Georgia still possible. Seats that will make the difference between gridlock and progress. Democrats must figure out why so many voters still say to them, you're good enough, you're smart enough, but doggone it, we don't like you.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Real.
And look, he continues.
And they're not good enough.
No, listen to this. He's getting applause here. This is savage.
Under the headline, Something Went Wrong, the New York Times described a post-election conference call between Democratic leaders where they wept, cursed, and traded blame. Wait, I thought we won this one.
True or not true?
Which we did. We did, and yes, ding dong, the whiny little bitch is dead.
Okay,
celebration is in order. We took a big step toward saving democracy and in the process lost 280 pounds of ugly fat. All right, that's my last fat joke.
So he gets his zingers in, but watch.
But Democrats were supposed to flip the Senate and didn't. Supposed to flip state legislatures, not a one. And they lost seats in the House.
Not a single state legislature.
Nope.
When Barack Obama was bleeding out Democrats on the floor. He lost some 2,000 seats locally, Senate and House of Representatives and state legislature. He oversaw the biggest loss. Donald Trump didn't see a single state legislature flip. Now Bill Maher continues.
And let's talk about really fast, though, because this kind of irks me how the media is in collusion with, like, attacking Donald Trump's physical appearance all the time, right? Whereas, like,
body shaming.
I'll tell you right now,
they've been talking about. But let's talk about physicality, right? You have a corpse, a crypt keeper, a dead man walking, one foot in the grave, the other foot on a banana peel.
Dead, you know
looks like a deer in headlights. You have crypt keeper, swamp mistress Nancy Pelosi. But yet everybody wants to, like, protect them, right? Let's talk about the physicalities of Kamala Harris. Okay, let's dissect that. But yet they want to protect
Timberland
women.
boots that she never ever wore.
Right.
Let's talk about how out of rhythm she is. Let's talk about how flat her body is. If we want to body shame, right? She's out there marching to some
fire, man. He on fire.
She's out there marching to some beats and she can't even dance. Like, I mean, she's horrible. Let's talk about that for real fast.
Let me tell you, you're going to find some solace. You're going to find some solace in Representative Republican.
That was
Bill
just a little
Maher.
roast session real fast.
Yeah, little roast.
So listen up. This will blow your mind, the stats he's about to say.
Okay.
Oh, whoops.
Making people aware of racism. Their share of minority votes, so much about making people aware of racism. Their share of minority votes went down. The message to Democrats from so much of the country seems to be, we don't like Trump, but we still can't bring ourselves to vote for you. If Cracker Jack was made of popcorn and dog shit, and half the people threw out the popcorn should want to know why.
Dude, that is absolutely savage.
I mean, either write off half
the situation with Donald Trump. He picked up more minority votes, more black votes, more Hispanic votes, but yet and still he decreased in the white vote. What does that tell you?
No, I'll tell you right now. I know exactly. There's only one demographic he did not increase his percentage in. No, it wasn't white guilt. I know exactly what it was, and nobody's talking
white
about
BLMers.
No, it wasn't white BLMers.
There was a whole lot of them, too.
No, think about it. The demographic that he lost the most of was old people for fear of coronavirus. The media had people so freaked out of coronavirus.
You will kill your grandmother.
Yeah, you killing
if
grandmother.
When we think, to church.
We're so used to thinking of white males as the middle-aged guys with podcasts that are the evil Nazis. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm a Nazi. Of course, that's going to get clipped by some retard. You know what I'm saying? Wish I never said it. But, you know, they're so used to accusing this face, this white face of the ultimate evil. They forget an 85-year-old who's holed up in New York watching hundreds of thousands of people die in his state where 85% of them are his age. He is freaked out, and all he needs to do is sit there watching CBS News because he's watched it since Walter Cronkite was the most trusted guy in America. And now CBS News, Walter Cronkite's channel, is telling me that Donald Trump's going to kill me, regardless of him sending the USS Mercy, regardless of him sending masks, regardless of him getting ventilators. Because CBS has told all of these old people who are oftentimes, guess what, white males also. It doesn't surprise me with the loss of the old person vote that the only demographic he went down in was white males. Because what's interesting is you're looking at the demographic he increased in 4%.
Was white females, right?
No. Black men. Black men was one of his biggest increases. So, welcome to the racist parade, guys. You know,
apparently. But that's the thing. That's the thing that I love what's going on is that he, like you said, he broke the media. Don't get me wrong. He definitely broke the media, but he increased the minority vote by in ways that hasn't really been done before. But he's still the racist. We're talking about the man who's been labeled as Hitler. We're talking about this very guy who's been torn down and torn asunder because of the fact that he's orange Hitler. He is orange man bad. He's everything that's terrible.
Which is all a lie narrative.
That's always been.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
And let's talk about real fast too the division that they're invoking, right?
Oh,
because
stoking that.
so far, whenever I wear my hat out,
let's go.
I get mostly love, right?
Let's go.
The people that have something negative to
that's
say
not your
let's
pretty
go.
face.
are black females.
Let's go. Oh, let's go.
Literally.
Yes,
Black
indeed.
females have came up to me and argued me down, and I'm like, look, I'm not here to fight with you or argue with you. I'm telling you why my beliefs and why my interests are in alignment with the president, and yet you're calling me all type of like tokens and all type of so it's gotten crazy. But for the most part, people will like give me the thumbs up. People will say nice hat. You know, wow, like that's brave to wear that.
You see?
And that's from most people. But black females have like attacked me. That's happened.
Okay,
3
let's
times
finish
already.
listening to see what homeboy here says, because we gotta analyze this.
Country as irredeemable, or they can ask, what is it about a D next to a candidate's name that makes it so toxic?
Andrew Yang said the exact same thing.
Let's ask Ruben Gallego. He's a congressman from Arizona. He was asked how his Democrats could do a better job connecting to Latinos. He said, first, start by not using the term Latinx.
Dude, Latinx?
Which the vast majority of Latinos have never heard of, and when they do, don't like it.
Thank you.
Who likes it?
Yeah.
Pandering white politicians.
Thank you.
Who mistake Twitter for real people.
He keeps going.
And don't get it that Latinx is like fetch. You can try to make it happen, but it's never gonna.
Dude, this is a Republican monologue. Keep going. Like, this is sad.
I want to hear more.
He's literally
Virginia
saying,
Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger said after the election, if we are classifying Tuesday as a success, we will get fucking torn apart in 2022. That's a congresswoman.
which is going to happen. And his comment was
She was urging members not to talk about defunding the police.
Thank you.
James Clyburn agreed. Defund the police is killing our party.
James Clyburn, by the way, is the reason why Joe Biden won the Democrat Party. Joe Biden was behind 3 or 4 other candidates before he sat down with Clyburn, and Clyburn gave him the black vote. Basically, I shouldn't say gave him the black vote because black vote isn't a monolith.
Right.
But there's a lot of people in
But
a
he
lot of the
co-signed,
legacy
the
black
black
community and legacy influence organizations that go the way Clyburn
A
goes.
lot of plantation overseers.
You got it.
I actually said yeah because
A
I'm
lot
used
of
to saying
plantation
yeah.
got it.
overseers. No, we gotta
That's a
call
better
it
way to
like
put
it
it.
is.
You know what I'm saying?
People like Clyburn, and I'm sorry, we gotta call it like it is. I got a lot of respect for Senator. What was his name? John Lewis, the one from the March from Selma. I appreciate his work that he did
back in the
for equality back in the civil rights.
But you are your formative
he became
years,
a plantation overseer
and
by advocating for Jim Crow Joe and by trying to steer the reins for black people to stay on the Democratic plantation. That's what we got to just call it. People like Maxine Waters, she's out there causing division right now. She literally called black men who support the president. She called us the reason why there's all this stuff going on. And she said that she will never forgive us. She said that we are ashamed and are despicable to our families. That's what Maxine Waters just said.
You have got to be kidding me right now. And Maxine Waters said that.
Maxine Waters. And let's talk about her corruption. Let's talk about the poison that she has done to her community and to her constituents.
Well, let's get through Bill Maher's thing first, though. Because I really want you guys to see this.
He said, Pennsylvania Democrat Connor Lamb says Democratic rhetoric needs to be dialed back. It needs to be rooted in common sense. Thank you. Thank you.
This is a savage,
in my opinion, is the
monologue.
crux of the problem. Democrats too often don't come across as having common sense to a huge swath of Americans.
Now, look at these examples.
These are people who believe in QAnon.
Look, these examples he gives. Look, he got his dig in on QAnon.
But as I've said before, politics in this country is binary. You have to wear everything anyone on your side does. Republicans are the party of don't wear masks, kids in cages, lock her up, and Democrats are the party of every hypersensitive social justice warrior, woke bullshit story in the news.
Oh, dude.
They're the party of inclusiveness, right?
Dude, now is this not literally what has been missing since Jay Leno left? So anyway, it keeps going.
They're the party that disappears people or tries to make them apologize for ridiculous things.
What they did.
Anne Hathaway apologized last week because in her new movie she plays a witch, a fictional character that has 3 claw-like fingers, and that's offensive to people with limb differences.
Oh, my God.
The week before, the NHL's Arizona Coyotes dropped a player after it came out in the press that when he was in 8th grade, he bullied a disabled kid. Yes, that's a bad thing to do. But are we really going after people for what they did in middle school now? Democrats already lost seats for going after what Brett Kavanaugh did in high school.
Let's go.
But it's okay for Democrats to wear blackface. Right? When Democrats, pictures of blackface have surfaced, oh, it's okay. Joy Behar said, I got the forgiveness of it and the support of the black community. Well, I'm black.
You
Kim
didn't get my
Klacik is
support.
black. She didn't have our support.
Not at all.
Dude. Well, and so is this, or see this, his description, a lot of my respect that has been lost for Bill Maher over the years. He's always hung on with some redemption moments where I think, okay, this guy actually sees through the fog. But literally, I think the only difference between me and him is that he remembers a different Democrat Party, obviously.
Right.
Because what he described, a party of nothing but woke scolds
You got it.
that can't help you do anything economic, physiological, environmental, but will sure as hell ruin your life if you step out of their orthodoxy. He literally just described the only Democrat Party I've ever known in my entire life.
See, and that's the only one I've ever seen. This is the only Democrat Party I've ever seen. This cancel culture, you say the wrong, again, like you said, hypersensitive. The Democrats have been hypersensitive about Latinx. What? They don't even like it. They don't even like that. But yet and still they're pushing this. You better say this. You better say that. If you don't, we're going to cancel you. It's like the soft bigotry of low expectations and then the white savior complex and everything in between.
And check it. This is the same party, right? This is the DNC party that runs their entire platform on identity politics.
That's it.
Vote for me because I'm a woman.
Thank you.
Vote for me because I'm black. Vote for me because I'm a gay black woman.
Right.
It's crazy. Policy be damned. And that's the most foolish thing.
Okay, so we're going to finish off what our boy Republican apparently Bill Maher has to say.
Newfound Republican.
Oops.
Last year I read about how NBC held an emergency meeting to determine if Mario Lopez should be fired from his job at Access Hollywood. I thought, holy shit, did he sexually assault somebody? No, he went on a podcast, and when the host brought up the trend of liberal parents letting toddlers pick their gender identity, he said, my God, if you're 3 years old and you're saying you think you're a boy or a girl, I just think it's dangerous as a parent to make that determination. Cue the groveling apology, followed by America saying, yeah, I think Mario's right. Maybe kids shouldn't make big life decisions while you still need to make choo-choo noises to get the food in their mouth.
I remember that. They did want to cancel Mario Lopez.
They did.
Saying that children
I can do this all day.
So why?
Cite
gender
stories,
decisions.
Common sense.
Yeah, so wait, just let him say his piece.
big and small, that are endlessly on people's news feeds, that add up to a constant drip, drip, drip of these people are nuts.
That's the destruction of the media.
Everybody heard about that story out of San Francisco about a guy who got on a crowded elevator with a female professor, and when she asked what floor, he said, women's lingerie. A little joke. For which he earned a formal complaint because it left her shaken. Shaken? Who are these jellyfish? Like the woman who almost derailed Biden's campaign because he kissed the back of her head before she went out to make a speech. She said her brain couldn't process what was happening.
True.
Really?
And the media
Your brain couldn't process that, like string theory or wormholes?
Dude.
Boy.
An old man was trying to show support in his old man way.
Dude, and I have even said that on this show when people have tried to call Joe Biden Sleepy Creepy Joe and stuff like that. I've always said I lament the fact that his affectionate demeanor is perceived as creepy, and I think that's actually a negative effect of leftism that we can't adopt on the right, or else we're adopting the language of our accusers.
Perceived as creepy?
Hold on, but
he's fondling children on camera. He's sniffing girls' hair.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
I'm not here to say he's never gone too far.
Repelled and repulsed
I'm just saying.
No, that ain't cool.
I'm just saying that I'm with Bill Maher on this in the sense that who are these jellyfish
that
are making a go out there, and so anyway, this is just going back to my thesis. We can quit watching Bill Maher,
but actually
destroy
really
his
fast
party.
Too,
but
but before that, I don't think so much that they're jellyfish, so much as they're predators. Right, they're predators
of the language.
They're using people's sensitivity with racism and people's sensitivity to fear and people's sensitivity to like death, and they're using that to prey on the American people.
I like that.
So actually, they aren't
sharks,
jellyfish;
man.
they're more like sharks.
Yeah, that's real.
And they're smelling the blood.
You know what? I've been saying this for quite some time, that they're very predatory in the way that they come across.
Very.
You know what I'm saying? They're intentional. They know, like when they say racist, black people,
Thank you.
knee-jerk reaction. Oh, racist, we're scared now. What do you want us to do? What should we do? And that's how we react as black people. So you say Donald Trump is racist. I mean, that's the easiest form of attack. You know what I'm saying? I'm so sick of people being called racist, and then that's it. Just like Dave Chappelle, he said the worst thing you can do is call someone crazy because it's dismissive.
It negates
you know what I'm saying? And automatically now that you have no credibility anymore because you're crazy.
Right.
Oh, that's that crazy person talking. Oh, don't listen to him. He's crazy. Saying with the word racist. Oh, don't listen to him. He's a racist. You don't want to hear anything. He's a bigot. You don't want to hear anything. Transphobe. You don't want to hear anything that they say. That's what they do.
That's what they do. And it's like, you won't believe that these people haven't invested millions and billions of dollars and man hours in psychology to get this down. I mean, they aren't just out there just like twiddling their thumbs. Like, this is a huge machine. They've invested millions of dollars, millions of man hours, years and decades of study in psychology, right, and psychosis to get to this level to where people are literally believing that you're gonna die if you go to church with the mask on, right? In the past month, I've been on about 5 planes, right? It doesn't even make sense that while you're waiting for the plane in the waiting area, they have seats blocked off and taped off with signs saying you can't sit here due to social distancing, but you can be on an 8-hour flight shoulder to shoulder with every seat filled, and as long as you wear a mask. So why can't you wear a mask and sit in the pews at church? Why can't you wear a mask and sit at the desk at school? Why can't you wear a mask and sit at your cubicle at work? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and okay, so look, we literally have 13 minutes and 30 seconds left on this because we were going to discipline ourselves and keep it to an hour.
Yes, sir.
You guys had on here, and I got it on my little list here. You want to talk about Sidney Powell and Dominion, the Million MAGA March, and you want to talk, we kind of hit the corrupt media and the Twitter censorship of the president a little bit. Sidney Powell and Dominion, MAGA, go.
Let's get into it. Hulk.
It's unbelievable what's going on. This Dominion programming that's with this programming, you can take votes from Trump and just switch it on over to Biden, which is how you've seen these random
glitches.
Yeah, that coincidentally we're all pro Biden.
See, that's one thing.
Glitches only go one direction, guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Like the coronavirus, it only goes to one direction. It only goes to Trump supporters.
Computer glitches are like coronavirus.
Exactly.
It's very selective. It's very subjective.
That's the thing, because I've been talking to Democrats, and I'm like, look, you can't tell me this is not fishy.
Come on.
All of the glitches that are happening on a consistent basis when it comes to this daggone election, you're trying to tell me that the fact that they all seem to benefit the left, the Democrats, Joe Biden, you're trying to tell me that's okay, that's legit.
Did y'all hear about the Dominion server that was found in Frankfurt, Germany?
Let's go.
They said like thousands of votes. Now this is in Germany.
Wait, shut up. There was a
Germany.
I am fact checking you in
real time.
Yeah, military found it.
Yep.
U.S. military found this, and it was a Dominion server where thousands of votes that were for Donald Trump went to Joe Biden.
Oh my gosh, look at this, dude. I just Googled this, and I'll share this with the audience. First one is AP
but they say
News.
false reports.
False reports claim election servers received. Oh, wait, they're saying false reports, bro.
Well, they're always saying false reports.
Whereas you have pictures and video of the military seizing this, right? And
really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's the deal. I'm going to read. Oh, dang it. They always want your money. They always wait till you're like 10 seconds.
Yeah, then they will give you a little pop-up.
So I'm going to go back and I'm going to fact check that.
I got 3 mail-in ballots. They're saying that's
false. Well, because, and here's the deal.
That's false.
Yeah.
So you're a liar.
Right, so I'm a liar. Where I got the video proof. I was mailed 3 ballots, in 3
Oh
digits.
no, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
But they're saying that that's 0%.
And here's the thing that bothers me too is the AP and the Washington Times and all. You have to ask yourself who fact checks the fact checkers, because I've literally seen reports where people have said, "Oh, so and so claimed that most X, Y, or Z cases end in death." Well, no, actually, most insinuates it's 51%, and we found out that it's really 52%.
Right.
So since he was off by 1%, it's now wildly false. These people do not act in good
It's
faith
interesting that you
when
mentioned
they
who
fact
are
check.
fact checking the fact checkers, because in Candace Owenson's lawsuit, she's suing the fact checkers of Twitter and Facebook because not only did they censor her footage of an opinion from a medical doctor on COVID, but they demonetized her Facebook page. So she's not allowed to make money from her Facebook
even
page.
on this article, if you look at it, let me put it back. This is interesting. It says, here's the facts. Social media users Saturday were sharing reports published by conservative websites claiming servers would reveal wrongdoing in the U.S. election that had been confiscated by forces in Germany. Most posts said the servers belonged to software company Citadel, which is based in Barcelona. And some suggest servers house information from Dominion voting systems. Okay, so either way, whether it's Barcelona or whether it's Germany, I don't like the fact that something's going on overseas.
But did you know
right?
that the
the
single
optics
fact checker
at worst could be bad.
But did you know
worst,
that the
it's
single
bad
fact
optics.
checker of Facebook, according to the lawsuit, is one guy who was a former CNN analyst for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And now he's the single unilateral fact checker for Facebook.
Well, what do you know? And that's the thing. That's what we're up against. That's the fact checkers.
The collusion and the corruption is widespread. You saw MAGA Hulk just yesterday at the event, right, that we've been going to for months that have been peaceful.
You got it.
They blocked off every single city block from parking for no reason, from the 14th to the 16th. They were towing and ticketing people. I walked up to one of the officers and asked, why is he ticketing people? Why are the streets blocked off? And he said, oh, you have to ask the city commissioner. That's what his response was.
This is what we're up
They were
against.
trying to prohibit us from even assembling.
You better believe it.
So
any way possible.
I've been looking into this, and according to the AP, they've been able to find out that that Louis Gohmert, it was actually a congressman that had supposedly read a German tweet that was claiming that there was servers in Germany. Had sounded the alarm on that. Upon investigation, they found out it may not be true. It may have been due to a mistranslation error. So obviously, we don't want to repeat any kind of false allegations here. However, I do have to say, this is the kind of crap that runs rampant when you drastically change, not one way, not two ways, but three ways the American population votes different than how they voted 4 years ago nationally.
And that's my
because
problem.
the smallest things that usually would get sorted out and not be considered existentially destructive to our voting cycle, all of a sudden are requiring AP articles to dig deep into this. This is the testing that needs to get done as you slow roll how you change your elections. This is not the hysteria that we need on either side, because the Dems were so absolutely hell-bent on Orange Man.
But think about it, though. This is the only way that they could do this and try to get away with it, is with mass mail-in ballots. They couldn't do this any other way. They couldn't do it with in-person voting like all the other elections. They had to do a mass mail-in ballot so they can create all of this confusion. It's like a smoke and mirrors game that they're playing, and now it's up to the courts and the Republican lawyers that are fighting. It's up to them to sort through all this smoke and mirrors that the DNC
who keep getting canceled, just like Bill Maher talks about, for simply trying to say we want to certify these results.
See, and that's the thing. I want a free and fair election. If it was a free
what's
and fair
wrong with
election,
that?
there's nothing wrong with that, and that's the problem.
That was Stacey Abrams' claim to fame. She's famous.
She's
famous
for not
for doing
conceding
exactly
and
what
literally
Trump
saying
did.
that voters were disenfranchised.
Thank you.
Which is a complete literally the narrative that they're putting. I didn't mean to to cut your train of thought,
go with it.
They're putting a narrative out there, right? These liberal Democrats are putting a narrative that people who look like you and me, just because we're black, that somehow we're disenfranchised from voting because we don't have access to the DMV. Like, we don't know where our local DMV is. Like, we don't walk around with a required government issued ID like any normal citizen.
Dude, you walk around with that ID and an ascot and a scarf.
And I have a passport.
And a passport. Holla at your boy. You know what I'm saying?
But yet I'm disenfranchised because I'm black.
Yeah, dude. So we've got 8 minutes left here, brother. 8 minutes left for you to talk about I had it here on my notes.
What was the other one?
The Million MAGA March. You were passionate about the Million MAGA March.
Yeah, I know, man. Got work.
I was there in spirit, though.
Yeah, I was with y'all in spirit.
I was there in
So
spirit.
we got our boy Kit Cunningham.
Yeah.
Is there right now, but we couldn't patch him in. But talk to me, MAGA, about the Million MAGA March.
Man,
There's 1 million of you out there?
There was honestly, I think, were the numbers over 1 million?
Yeah.
Because it was an incredible amount of people. It was freaking fantastic.
Was it really over 1 million?
You should have saw that picture.
It was at least
Are we speaking hyperbolically, MAGA?
We can
No.
speak a little no, but I mean, I don't know the figure. Obviously, I wasn't out there with the clicker.
I'm
You know what I'm saying?
gonna look. I'm gonna look that up while you're.
What is frustrating to me is the way that, first of all, the way because if this was of the left, you better believe it would be all over the news.
Oh my God!
But the way they painted it for us, it wasn't even that big of a deal. It was a blip on the daggone news.
Yep.
And then on top of that, they always got to talk about the,
Oh, by the way, MAGA, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I do have to point this out. The second you type in Million MAGA March, look what the first article is that comes up.
Far right extremists.
No, yeah. Like, look what the headline is. Literally, Million MAGA March draws Trump loyalists and far right extremists.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's my problem. Every single time. We're always far right.
Why can't it draw out patriots? Why can't it draw out
Dude,
Americans?
because of the problem.
Lucas, you run an ice cream truck.
Thank you.
Dude.
So, like,
MAGA, you're a security guard / bodyguard.
Yeah.
Like,
why can't it draw it up? You know, and not only
now
is
we're
that
far right
narrative,
militia dudes.
Apparently.
We're in an ice cream truck.
we're far right.
You're in an
racist
ice
militia
cream
people.
truck. What, with like an AK-47?
Literally. That would make a good like horror movie, right?
That would. You
that,
be a
like
dope
killer
killer,
ice
you know what I'm
cream
saying?
truck at night. But look, not only that narrative, right? I've also seen a narrative that the Million MAGA March is racist and it's stealing the Million Man March from Black culture.
Oh, here we go.
And it's another example of how they culture appropriate.
Let me guess. It was the white guy that came up with that.
Coming up a name. That's a narrative that's out there too.
That's so annoying. I'm
Which
so
is crazy.
sick of these freaking
Dude, look at
narratives.
this. This is how biased they are, guys. Like, you can just do this in real time. Like, honestly, Donald Trump broke the media. Look at this.
Yes.
How many of President Trump's supporters swarmed in Washington, D.C. this weekend for the Million MAGA March? More than 1 million, as the White House says. Hundreds of thousands, as the protest asserts. Maybe 10,000 or so, as local authorities estimate. The answer is it doesn't matter. And look how they classify these people. The nation's political tribalism defies debate. Throngs of largely mask-free. The first thing they do to describe you is say that you are mask-free.
And
gotta point
they
that
didn't
out.
say
We're
that to
killing
everybody
grandma.
celebrating in D.C. about Joe Biden's
while they were
election.
singing WAP.
They didn't say that about. They didn't say the largely mask-free, peaceful celebrators.
And conspiracy immersed.
So look at this.
Unbelievable.
Look at this. The throngs of largely mask-free conspiracy immersed Americans. So simply wanting
Conspiracy
to allow Republican Michigan
Thank you.
vote viewers
Thank you.
to see the votes
Thank
is
you.
now conspiracy immersed. Simply asking why aren't signatures matching on any of these votes that have been discarded.
But the
that's
Hillary
a conspiracy.
supporters who had no reason
Right.
to have this Russian collusion,
Right.
when it was in fact, this is important now, right? Because it was in fact that literally Hillary Clinton was in collusion with Russia in 2016, and they got a hold of her emails, and she colluded with Barack Obama to get a fake dossier, to get a unwarranted FISA warrant to spy on the American citizens that were in Donald Trump's campaign. Literally flip it. And they ran with that for 4 years.
Right.
But now we're conspiracy immersed because we want a fair election.
Again, it's the same thing as being called crazy. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist.
It's dismissive.
It's dismissive. Oh, they're just conspiracy theorists. Those crazy, wacky conspiracy theorists. They have no validity to
They're
what they're
going to
saying.
eat
This
themselves
is
from
literally-
the inside out, though.
It is.
This is why, guys, I don't think we're in as bad shape and need to be as
It's like
crestfallen as we
political
have
cannibalism.
It is.
because there's a reason why Bill Maher is making the monologue he was making.
Thank you.
And there's a reason why 2 midterm elections in a row, Democrats have suffered heavy losses over what the media said they were going to do. The media was off 8% on this last election. 8%. That's 5 outside of the margin of error. How many seats did they project were going to be flipped by Dems and weren't flipped?
Blue
and now
wave
they're
became-
telling us that Georgia's going to turn blue?
Really?
Please.
And when you look at the map of Georgia, it's literally like 90% red. With
You got 60 seconds.
Major counties, you know. But it surprises me, and I think it's scary that the three major largest cities in America, New York City, Chicago, and LA, are like blue, and they're staunch blue, and they're just like a herd of sheep, and they don't even know what the Biden they don't even know what the Biden agenda is because Biden never even told it.
Exactly.
But now they have signed up for literally they've signed up for a new wave of insidious communism.
And
And this is how I think it gets better, because here's the deal. The right needs successful champions and its own celebrities and its own entertainment media. And that'll never happen as long as the monolith of Hollywood is generally left-leaning or far left-leaning.
That's real.
But now that Donald Trump broke the news media, what's going to start happening is there will be talent that's coming up that is like, no, I'm not going to sell my soul and force myself to say I want abortion in order to become a pop star.
Right.
Thank you.
Like, I'm not going to sign that Time Warner contract.
Act in a movie. I'm not going to sell my soul.
Glenn Beck over at The Blaze, he'll pay me $100,000 for a music video.
Let's go.
Dude, you know what? I'm getting screwed over at Warner anyways.
Yeah.
I'll go there. And then, oh, guess what? Wait, no, like Breitbart's making weird, like pro-military kind of like, fine, I'll launch my acting career. That like,
you know what? Yeah.
As we start having a fractured media, what's going to happen is music,
yes, sir,
film, television, everything from hip hop all the way to Christian media, all the way to every aspect of the culture is going to start drifting with it. We are the counterculture movement of the 60s.
Let's go.
Okay, we are literally the late 60s counterculture movement that broke off in the Haight-Ashbury district and started making their own music, started making their own stuff, and people started saying, wow, I actually like this. And just like Bill Maher said, everybody that decided they wanted to woke scold Mario Lopez and say he's a bigot for saying 3-year-olds shouldn't choose their gender, guess what's going to happen? The rest of America's going to lean back and say, no, Mario's right. When we start having good artists, good movies, not just weird Christian movies that flop, not just strange student films that try and glorify themselves, but actually start getting formidably credible and well-wrought cinema, motion media, and music, that is when the foundation starts really coming down on modern day leftism.
You know what? One last thing that I got to say on to y'all is that I'm sure y'all witnessed that after the fake media announced corrupt Joe Biden and lock him up Harris as the next people that are supposed to inhabit the White House, right?
Yeah.
It was a sad, sad day on Saturday. Like literally, it was sad to see grown black men crying on TV, saying that now their children can be safe in the streets.
Right.
Dude, we got MAGA here.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's safe.
Everybody's safe. But like now somehow they can be black again. And this
You never
was sad.
stopped.
Like,
You never stopped being black, dude.
Well, we did when we
out
didn't
there
vote for Joe
dancing
Biden. You know
in
what I'm
the
saying?
streets. Out there, I mean, it was embarrassing.
And that is a fear taught by the media. And my
Fear
biggest
reaction.
reason why I can't stand the modern movie. I always said I love movies, but I hate Hollywood. Because I remember when they were trying to say that the ban on the 13 countries Donald Trump put out was a Muslim ban. And all of these kids were afraid to go to school. And I said, you want to know what? If any of those kids are afraid to go to school, I'll take my freaking gun and walk with them there.
Wait,
now
and I'll
I
get
gotta say
MAGA
this real
Hulk
fast
and
too
I'll
with
get
that.
freaking Lucas
Because-
to walk with me.
Yep.
And the only reason why your kid is afraid because of their religion is a taught fear instructed to them through the media and the blogosphere. It is not because of anything any conservative ever said. It's what all the liberals have taught this child to
And let's
fear.
be clear, it was not a Muslim ban.
Come on.
It was a ban on specific countries that had
that
specific
Barack Obama had banned.
that had specific terrorist cells that our intelligence had got information that they were targeting America. So why would an American citizen care that America is putting a travel moratorium ban from these countries until we can investigate this terrorism and find out what's going on?
That part.
Why would the media twist it and say he's xenophobic and he hates Muslims? They even created new terms, Islamophobic. What is? I mean,
Well, at this point, look, phobia can go behind anything. Arachnophobia, myriaphobia.
It can go like
I worked in pest control. Trust me, there's phobias for everything.
They were creating stuff.
It was great. That was definitely
so
a creative
MAGA,
one.
finishing thoughts, brother. Carry us home, my man.
Look,
Carry us home.
honestly, the election's not over. I got to let that be known. The election is far from over. There's a lot of litigation to be had. There's a lot of malfeasance, even when it comes to election malfeasance that's going to be had. And if things don't pan out the way we want it, I think it's going to really tear down our institutions. I think people are going to lose faith in the institutions of America, and I don't want that. You don't want that, so I can't wait for this litigation to be had and for Donald Trump to be declared the victor.
4 more years.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, so one last question. What's the name of our show?
You ain't black. Mm-hmm. You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
Oh, no.
Every poll shows me way ahead.